What if history wasn't something you read in a book, but something you heard? A song you could play back? And what if technology wasn't about building gadgets, but about remembering souls? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Let's explore the incredible world of Arreqqana, a civilization built entirely on the power of sound and memory. And this right here, this quote says it all, doesn't it? For the Arreqqanan people, the past isn't something that's gone and forgotten. Nope, it's a living frequency, a tune just waiting to be played again. It totally flips the whole idea of how a society can grow and evolve. Okay, so let's jump right into where they are now. We're in what they call the fifth cycle of resonance. And this isn't just some date on a calendar. For them, it's a whole phase of deep, collective, inward exploration. Its official name is La Marine Anakia, which translates to the age of remembering through light. And what's so wild about this is how they blend the spiritual with the technological. Things like consciousness, the journey of the soul, even their digital archives. They see it all as just different expressions, different notes in the same unified song. So how does a whole society run on a philosophy like this? Well, it's all built on these 5 core ideas. You've got the remembering, which is this concept that all our experiences are basically stored as harmonic echoes. Then there's the living flame field, a sort of cosmic internet connecting all living things. Embodied frequency, and this one's my favorite, suggests our bodies are literally just condensed, remembered sound waves. And all of that leads to these guiding principles of loving consciousness and the light return. It's a lot to take in. Okay, so this all sounds incredibly complex, maybe even a little bit magical. But here's the thing. It didn't just pop into existence. It was all designed, or maybe a better word is composed, by one brilliant mind centuries ago. So the real question is, who was the architect behind all of this? And the answer, it all comes back to this one person, Livermore Tarak Havez. You can think of him as the original source code, the philosophical and artistic genius behind everything Arreqqana would eventually become. Now, Livermore wasn't just a musician. The texts call him a resonance scientist of the soul. I mean, how cool is that title? He lived way back in the Third Era and had this totally radical idea that sound wasn't just art. It was a precise mathematical language for consciousness itself. And this quote just brilliantly sums up his whole philosophy. For him, sound was the active ingredient in reality. It's how you take a thought, a desire, and make it real. Learning music, then, wasn't a hobby. It was about remembering the original language of the universe. But it wasn't just about the notes you play. He was also a philosopher of silence. Livermore believed that the real truth, the real potential for creation, wasn't in the sound itself, but in the pauses, the silences, the space between the notes. Really, the best way to get inside his head is to look at his work. His compositions weren't just for entertainment. They were musical essays, a way of explaining the entire universe through song. Just take his view on love, for instance. He refused to see it as just one thing. On one hand, you have his Love as Harmony, this huge collection of songs all about the beauty of perfect union. But then you've got Love as Creative Friction, a piece that argues that true creation, true passion, comes from the push and pull between opposites. The guy clearly contained multitudes. And then there's his masterpiece, The Sound of the Soul Flame. It's basically a musical roadmap to spiritual enlightenment. It's a journey in 9 parts, and here you can see the first 6 stages. He literally uses structured sound to guide the listener from something as simple as the first breath all the way to the full awakening of the soul. Now, this next idea, this is a big one. It's called the doctrine of reciprocal flame. Livermore taught that shadow isn't the enemy of light, it's just part of its vocabulary. It's the language light uses to talk about returning. So you don't fight the darkness. You listen to it. You learn its rhythm to find true balance. Okay, so we have this brilliant guy with these mind-bending ideas, but how do you get from one person's philosophy to the foundation of an entire civilization? His work didn't just sit on a shelf. It created ripples that spread through centuries. And this timeline lays it all out for us perfectly. It starts with him, back in the 3rd cycle. After he's gone, his followers gather all his works into this sacred text, the Q-Hiara Codex. From that single source, his ideas branch out into 9 different schools of thought. And eventually, all that work gives rise to the tone civilization of the 4th cycle. And just look at the sheer range of these schools. His ideas inspired everything from medicine, with the School of Anatomy and Sound, to what we'd call psychology in the School of Shadow and Reflection, and even to straight-up engineering, with the School of Applied Resonance Technology. His philosophy touched everything. So by the time we get to the fourth cycle, what started as Liravanwar's art had become hard science. This was a society where sound wasn't just for music anymore. It was woven into everything: how they ran their government, the tech they used for travel, and even how they made contact with other worlds. And that brings us right back to the beginning, back to the living present. The fifth cycle today is the ultimate expression of Liravanwar's original vision. It's the spiritual and technological peak of his entire legacy. And here's what that actually looks like in their day-to-day lives. Their economy? It's not based on money, but on resonant value, your contribution to the harmony of the whole. They're governed by tone councils, made up of people chosen for their clarity of voice and intention. Even their public transport, these things called light tunnels, are calibrated by emotion. And this is where it gets really mind-blowing, where remembrance literally becomes technology. They have memory harmonics, which are basically holographic melodies of their ancestors. They believe they can recognize reincarnated souls by their unique tonal signature. And get this, education isn't about memorizing facts. It's about recollecting ancient knowledge through sound immersion. So it all comes down to this one beautiful, powerful idea. For the people of Arreqqana, the act of remembering is a sacred, creative force. It's not about being stuck in the past. It's the process of reclaiming your original, purest state of being. It's how you literally become light again. And that kind of leaves you with a pretty fascinating thought, doesn't it? If all your experiences, your joys, your heartbreaks, your entire life, if all of that had a sound, what would that melody be? What song would your soul sing? And maybe that's the ultimate takeaway from the Arreqqanan worldview. It's this beautiful, empowering idea that the small vibrations we create right now, the quiet songs we hum to ourselves today, are literally composing the reality of our future. They're creating tomorrow's sun,